in 5, 4, 3. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Oregon Fan Show, where we talk with Duck fans and college football experts about the things that make us want to shout. Our guest this morning, longtime Duck fan, great sports fan, an Oregon grad, and a wonderful personality, Coach Meg. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Okay, you're wearing
I am.
a special jersey. Please show it.
It is. This is my guy. I'm Haloti all the way. He's been my number one since I was in school. So,
All right, off the air, you told me a fun story.
so my freshman year, my writing class, he was in my class, and I will specifically always remember. He's such a like a down to earth, great human being. I've loved him literally since 2005, and he walked in one day with a boot on a Monday. And I remember gasping out loud and going, and he was like, "It's okay, I'll be fine, don't worry." And that was like, that sealed the deal, like with me with Haloti for the rest of my life. So he's been, yeah.
I mean, it was nice of him to take the time to reassure you,
Right.
and give you the inside story.
Also, like, don't make a big deal out of me. Sorry. No, it was really funny because I was like, no. And it was like a precautionary thing. He was fine. So it was really funny though. It was really cool to have him in my class. So he's just been my guy.
For good reason. And I admire that kind of sports loyalty, There are some people who choose a new team or choose a new fan or choose new people they follow every other week.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a few that I've like up until obviously he graduated. Bryce Betcher was my guy. So I graduate into each, I think, class, but like I'm Haloti's like most loyal fan, I feel.
All-time great college football Hall of Famer. I mean,
yes.
And he was a monster when he played.
Yeah.
I mean, so he could just chew up the entire offensive line.
Yeah, always. And like even when he got drafted, I followed him. So I wasn't a Ravens fan, obviously, but I followed him, And then when he went to, I think, was it Philly first or was it the Lions first? I don't remember, but I followed him to watch him all the way up until he retired. But because I was never really a football fan, I just kind of followed like where the Ducks went. And as they were, drafted until Herbert got drafted to the Chargers. And then I kind of liked the Chargers feel. So I became a Chargers fan, I guess you could say. I don't know how the Chargers fans do it, though. but yeah. They're fun. They're still fun, and I'm glad that Keenan Allen's back. But this isn't about the Chargers. But yeah. So I would always follow the Ducks, but like he was like the one that I followed the most, obviously, and would watch all the time. So
totally, Meg. Conversations go where they go.
Yes.
On this show, there's no rules, no script, no cliches that we have to honor. We're just going to talk, and perfect. I appreciate so much. You're an incredibly interesting personality. You and your daughter do some amazing and fun stuff. It feels like from your Twitter feed that you're in the entertainment business.
I walk on stilts at Universal. So I do like parades and shows and stuff. And I worked at Disney for a very long time, a while back. And we love Loki, obviously. Loki is like my guy also. So it's funny because his aesthetic is literally the Ducks aesthetic. So it's like, maybe that's why I was attracted to him also as a character. But I worked at Disney also. I did shows and parades and all kinds of stuff. So I am essentially, yes, in the entertainment business.
All right. Now, when you say his aesthetic is like the Ducks, in what way is it like the Ducks?
Well, I mean, if you look at the picture right there, if you see like the color combo is almost the exact same. So I'm very attracted to like green and yellow for obvious reasons. But I don't know. I feel like he's like the quiet villain, but also he's not. He's the anti-hero. And I feel like the Ducks are kind of like that sometimes too. So
I totally agree. And if you look at the Duck, He's a little bit
Yes.
sassy, he's rascally, and
and
Loki's
you
like that too.
and you never know what the duck is gonna do. You never know what Loki's gonna do. So there we go.
It
The
totally
parallels are there.
it totally fits. By the way, your daughter Emma is just a shiner. I've never met her, but she reminds me so much of my granddaughter Caroline. Just
Oh, cute. Yeah,
yes.
she's not 11. Let me tell you, she's like trapped in like a 30-plus-year-old's body, or well, she's trapped in an 11-year-old body, but she's hilarious, and she gets real into it, sports also, and I couldn't imagine where she got that from, but but her personality is fantastic. I love her. I know I'm biased. She's my child, but she is a pretty solid child.
That's awesome when their personalities fully emerge and they're becoming their own person, but
Yes.
yet you see elements of your influence and how they
Yes.
are.
Yes, and it doesn't hurt that she looks almost exactly like me. So there's no ever any question ever whose child she is.
A little mini me.
Yes, a 3D print is what I like to say.
Very nice. Yeah. Caroline's the same way. My wife is going down to see her in San Diego this weekend. And
Oh, fun.
yeah, incredibly fun for them. And she's got that same quality. And she's been 30 since she was 7.
Yeah,
Some of the things that pop out of her mouth, like, how do you know that?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. I've
Yeah.
started to tell Emma. I'm like, Emma, maybe you should put the YouTube away, just for a little bit, because the
Fun.
things that she comes up with, I think, are she likes. She obviously I limit her YouTube. I don't want anybody to like say anything. No, but she sometimes like, and she likes to research a lot of stuff. So like she goes down rabbit holes, and she knows. So when she says things, I'm like, okay, let's put the phone down for like 2 seconds, please. But also, okay, all right, I got you.
All right. When the two of you watch games, when you watch Duck games, is she a stand on the couch, shout at the TV type of fan? How does she do it?
Oh yeah, and she's always like, "Come on!" Like I and I always think of course, Remember the Titans and Cheryl
Yeah.
and
Yes.
R.I.P. Hayden. I watched that now like 3 times since, but it's like a weekly, like monthly watch for me anyway. But like me and her, all like we are Cheryl. So she's like that a lot. And when I took her to Austin for the first time, she was like standing on the bleacher and she was like, "Come on!" And like even during like the Hawaii game, because there was a back-to-back weekend in September a couple years ago where we played Hawaii at home and then we played Colorado at home. That game was so much fun to be at, by the way.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, and I hadn't been back to Autzen since I moved, and that was her first Autzen experience was Hawaii, and she was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." And I said, "Girlfriend, wait until next week," but she was like standing on the bleachers like, "Let's go Ducks!" What? Like, so yeah, no, she actually ended up falling asleep for the second quarter of the Colorado game. I think she got really overwhelmed, but we were all like, "It's so loud in here. How did she fall asleep?" But she fell asleep underneath the bleacher, like tucked in, and fell asleep. And at right as soon as the third quarter started, she woke up and goes, "All right, we went in. What's going on?" And she was like right back in it. It was really funny. It was like a power nap kind of. And she saw the score. She goes, "Oh, we got this," and she sat back down.
I'm a
So
big believer in naps. I mean, I
yeah.
took one
Oh
before
yes.
the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love nap time if I can ever squeeze one in. But it was crazy that she was self-soothed herself into like you could tell she was like overwhelmed. She was like, "It's so loud in here." And I said, "Yeah, I know. I told you. Like last week was just a warm-up." And then but when she woke up, she was like immediately right back in it. She goes, "All right, I'm good to go. Let's go. Who are we kicking butt? What's happening?" And like there was like no time had passed. It was really funny.
So at your house this year, 17 days until the Ducks play Boise State. Is the excitement building? Are you starting to feel it?
Yes, I also like there's like dread, because it's like, oh God, here I go again, the roller coaster of, it's not dread, but you know what I mean. It's like, oh, that roller
I do
coaster.
know.
Yes. And then of course, like, if the, everybody's going to be like, oh, okay, spoiled Dodger fan. If the Dodgers go into October, you know, then I've got football and baseball at the same time, and I'm like beat up sports emotionally, like by the end of November, or by the beginning of November. The last 2 years have ended in triumph, of course, so I can't really I can't complain. But
For the Dodgers.
For the Dodgers,
the
yes.
Ducks.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no. I was in Atlanta.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, it was my very first Oregon game was on my birthday in 2005, right? And I had never really been into college sports, whatever. I really liked the culture of Oregon for like the sports aspect. Obviously, like I was looking at being a walk-on for the softball team, and you know, I knew the coach at that time, and so I was really I dug the sports feel of the school, right? Because I grew up in small town California, and so when we went to this football game, I was like, sweet, birthday present. First game like I've ever been to. I can't wait. And it was, of course, against USC and Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart. And that game was not great. No. And you know what? It rightfully so. Look who we were playing. But it was a good first game to introduce me to Oregon football, I suppose. Because Emma's first Oregon football game was in Georgia against the Bulldogs.
Oh my.
So, yeah. So she was like, they keep scoring and nothing's happening. I'm like, you know what? We start the bar low and then we go really high. You know what I mean? So that was my first football game. So sitting there years later in Indiana, or not in Indiana, in Georgia, because it was in Atlanta, in the same stadium. So I've banned myself from going to that stadium. I will never go to a game there again. I've decided. Sitting there and sorry,
that's all right.
Emma's birthday decorations are still up. And sitting there, and that pick six happened in the first 2 seconds, and I was like, all right, well, I'm an Indiana fan for the rest of the day. Let's go, because they're gonna. And then I was sitting next to some Indiana fans, and I was like, so you guys are gonna win the national championship. This is gonna be great, and you know, and I was. It was rough to be there, but everybody was really gracious, and it was okay. I was at an Oregon football game. You know, I don't get to do that very often. I just watched them win in Miami with Emma. And so like that was my high, I guess, for the season also. And it was just kind of like, And then they won the national championship. So we lost to the national champion. It's fine.
Again.
But again, yes, correct. But it was a rough game. It was a rough game. But that's how I started my career with, you know, as an Oregon sports fan. So here we are.
As an Oregon sports fan, we just have to be in it for the duration. I mean, there are the highs and there are the lows, and every one of us has got this whole list of stuff that went wrong and moments where we did not look good.
Yes, I was thinking about, because Mario Cristobal and I share a birthday, and he's been now banned from the cool birthday twin list. But that second Indiana, it's the red team, Utah loss.
Yeah.
I have never turned a game off before. Like, I'll get upset in the moment and I'll like shut my computer, or I'll turn the TV off, and then like 5 minutes later I'm like, okay, I can do this. And then I turn it back on. But that second Utah loss, I turned the game off and I said, you know what? I'm going to be done with Oregon football for the year, because it was technically the end of the season at that point-ish.
Sure.
But I had never once ever before turned one off in its entirety and said, I'm done watching it, because I couldn't watch it. It was painful, because the same exact thing, it was like deja vu. We just watched this happen, and nothing was adjusted, and nothing it was just like the same exact game. It was crazy. And I turned it off and I remember saying, nope, I'm good. I'm done. And I like went about my day, or I went to bed, maybe. I'm not sure. But that was the first time ever that I've turned a game off completely and said, I'm out, because I'm a glutton for punishment. So I usually turn it back on. But yeah, that one, I was over it. I was so done.
Cam Rising and those Utah tight ends, Dalton Kincaid, they just used the Ducks
Yeah,
up
dude.
that day. It was broken.
It reminded me of when the Hulk takes Loki and just goes like this with him, because it was just the same thing over and over again. I was like, did we not? Yeah, exactly. And then they walked away, and I was like, we did it. Did we not learn? We just did this a couple weeks ago. What are we doing? What are we doing? And it was just the same thing. It was like, it was so repetitive. And it was like, okay, it hurt that last game, but now we're doing it again. Now you're just pushing the knife in further, like instead of taking it out and dressing my wound, So, oh man, it was that one was just so rough. And I mean, like, we've had some rough games. That one was rough.
Rough.
So, it was rough.
And those twin losses, Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, 2025 Rose Bowl,
yes.
Indiana in the Peach Bowl a year later, they both had a very painful element of deja vu.
Yeah, yes. And I don't hate Indiana like I hate Ohio State. So I wasn't upset. And I also was a little relieved, I will not lie, because I didn't want to deal with Miami. I didn't want to deal with their fans. I didn't want to deal with if we lost to Miami. I didn't want to deal with any of that. So I wasn't necessarily as upset, I think, as I could have been in that regard. But it was still a very painful. It was still very painful, because it was like, oh God, here we go again. Now everybody's going to be like, oh, Oregon's never going to get there. And then, because that's how it is. And this day and age, being a sports fan, especially with social media being so prominent, it's so rough to be a sports fan in the social media age. It makes it almost sometimes impossible. But I almost, because I was in San Francisco for the Rose Bowl 2 years ago, and I almost drove down to go watch it, and I'm so glad I did not.
Yeah. It was like getting kicked in the kneecaps 52 times. It was just actually 56 times.
Yeah. Yes.
What do you think went wrong that day? Why did they get blown out again?
Honestly, I don't know. There wasn't like an overconfidence type thing. There wasn't, we thought we had, no pun intended, of course, we thought we had all our ducks in a row. The team wasn't, injured. There wasn't any specific, like, I don't know. I went in there, and you know what? I'll blame myself again. I went in there super confident that it was going to be a good game again, and we were going to be very competitive. And I think maybe it was just because we beat them in the regular season, and they were like, well, we're going to pound you into the ground now, I think maybe. So,
okay, you're talking about Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
How about, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't know. And then going into, I think it's the same thing with Indiana. I think it's the literal same exact thing, deja vu, like we were talking about with those two Utah games. There was nothing that should have stopped us. If that pick six didn't happen in that first 3 seconds, I don't think it would have been as much of a mauling. The minute that pick six happened, with two minutes into the game, if the momentum was not on our side. So I know a lot of people are like, well, the refs and like this and like that and like all this stuff, but I don't, maybe it was the playbook, maybe it wasn't. I see a lot of people that don't like the offensive calls and all the screen passes and all that stuff. But I don't know. I mean, it's worked for the regular season to win games. So, I just don't, maybe, I don't like, well, the other team wanted it more. Well, I'm sorry, but our team wants it just as bad. But I don't know. It's hard to beat the same team twice. Always is. But I don't know. Like, I just don't know. I think that's the like worst part about it is there is no reason for us to have lost by that much.
Yeah. You'd like to have a cleaner explanation, but
yeah. But there isn't like a solid one all the way through. And it's not like, again, everybody was like, oh, well, this person disappeared in this game, of course. Well, okay, but everybody else didn't do what they were supposed to either. So it's not just one person, it's a team, obviously. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, Bryce was doing his best, dude, and like not this year, obviously, but like you can't just rely on one person. So, or no, Bryce played this year. He didn't play baseball this year. That's right. I forgot. Nope. Yeah. Nope. I got the sports mixed up.
He was done with baseball.
Yeah. I got my sports mixed up. But he was locked in. He was locked in the whole game in Indiana, like in Atlanta against Indiana. He was locked in the whole time, but you can't just rely on one person. So and so was Dylan, I think, Thieneman. He was locked in also. They both were, but like you can't just rely on one or two people to hold up their side of, the game. And there's like literally zero. For me, there's zero explanation because it's just like it's the same team and we played them before and now here we are.
I think for me, it was a little bit of a quicksand game. Things start going wrong and you're just sinking in the quicksand.
And you're spiraling and then you just can't fix it. And you're trying so hard to get out, but the more you try to get out of the quicksand, the deeper you're sinking. Instead of chipping away,
Ducks had a pick six, as you said, first offensive play of the game. They had 2 fumbles inside their own 10, and they had a punt blocked. There's no way you're going to win the game with all those things happening. But I feel.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, you're good. This is your show.
They just one of those things maybe at the right time going wrong is okay, but they kept going wrong at the wrong time. So there was like just no coming back after that because like the momentum shifted. Like, yes, okay, we got the ball back. Defense did it. Here we go, and then it's a fumble. Instead of recovering, it's, oh crap, we messed up. And then, like you said, quicksand, you keep getting pulled in. And so you can recover from those little things, but you can't if it's just wrong place, wrong time, I feel like, is what some of that stuff was too.
Okay, it's a new year, a new team. Yes. What are you excited to see from this group of Ducks?
Well, I am excited to see a newer offense, I guess. Maybe not newer. I'm assuming it'll be maybe not linear, but like a screen pass, I guess, because everybody was like, that was like their thing, was like, stop screen passing. And for me, I still feel like I'm a newer football fan. So like, I'm not like 100% on like all of that. I'm just watching football at this time at some points in time. So I'm just like, okay, great. But like, it got us down, it got us the first down. So why are you mad about it? And I get it. Mm-hmm. And they thought that Will Stein was the majority of online presence thought Will Stein was very vanilla. I don't know. I feel like the Ducks are always electric. So unless they're not, but I'm excited to see like a newer offensive shift, maybe. Who knows? I enjoyed thoroughly Brandon Finney. I cannot wait to watch him again.
Oh yeah,
he is, and he was a true freshman. So I was like, oh, okay, if we can lock him in and maybe avoid the transfer portal, then that'd be great because he's pretty fun to watch.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah. In that Orange Bowl game you went to, he played one of the best games I've ever seen from an Oregon cornerback.
It was a collective also. Like even Texas Tech fans were like, what? like, and it was really fun. It was really funny because it was just like, and to watch it too in person and to hear like the excitement and all that stuff, like it was really cool to watch it in person. But I'm excited for him. I hope he just breaks it wide open because he had a very good season. So
One of the best cornerbacks in the entire country.
yeah.
In that game alone, he had an interception in the end zone, another interception, and a fumble recovery.
Yep.
Defensive player of the game.
Yeah, and it was one of those things too where it was like, did he catch it? He did. Oh my god! And it was like the craziest. Like, how would you even be able? So he can read that ball. It's impressive. It's super impressive.
It is, and it's a product of the way he works. Dan Lunning said many times that he's one of the last guys off the field. He's incredibly diligent about film study and preparation. Prepares like a pro already.
Yeah, and I love that. I love dedication like that, and I've always been like the center position is my favorite position in football. But a really good defensive person, like really good defense, gets me, man. I love defense, even in baseball. Home runs are great. I love the small ball, but really good defense really gets me. So when there is good defense, I'm all about it.
Nick Saban always says defense travels.
Yeah. Well, and I had this isn't from my old PE coach, but my late PE coach back in high school, he had a sign that said offense wins games and defense wins championships. And that will always stick with me because what is it? Is it, well, no, the best defense is a good offense, I think is what that's it. But that for me, it's like the opposite. Like, and defensively, I think it's my first base mindset because you are the defensive person, like when you're at first base. So like, I always say that your baseball team is not your baseball team is only as good as your first baseman. And so that's why I like if defensive plays happen. Oh man, I love defense. I love a good defense, but the center position is my favorite position.
Pancho Lalaulu, Remington Award candidate. What a leader he is.
Mm-hmm. I think that's why I like center also, because I think that yes, the quarterback is a leader because the quarterback has control of the ball most of the time, but the center is there, I think, to also bring it in. And he's kind of in charge of the quarterback also, if you really think about it. So that's why I like the center as well.
Totally. I mean, Pancho makes the line calls. He gets everybody on their blocking assignments. He communicates the silent count. I mean, he's totally the key to the offensive line, the quarterback of the offensive line. And the fact that he's a senior with the experience he has and the leadership qualities he has.
Yeah.
That's huge for the Ducks.
Yeah. I like his field presence a lot. And one of my favorite Ducks is Grasu. So I love him. So, and then, we had, what was his name right before JPJ?
Jackson Powers Johnson.
Yeah, but who was the one that was before him? He went to the Broncos.
Alex Forsythe?
Yes. I loved him. I loved his field presence also. He's awesome.
Great tradition at center for the Ducks.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, very much so. And JPJ got me hooked on the center position, but like Grasu is like my favorite, one of my favorites because of that. And then I realized, wait, I kind of like the center position. Okay. All right, cool. So maybe that's my favorite. I lean towards that.
Well, you are a perfect illustration of one of the show tenets on this show is that there's more than one way to fan. And they're all valid and interesting and fun to talk about. We'll have guys on this show. Doug Scott's coming on this afternoon, the guy from the QB11 show. Really terrific guy. But he and his co-host Andrew can dive into 22 personnel and the intricacies of simulated pressure and talk for 3 days about it and be interesting for the entire 3 days. And there are other people who go to the game. to enjoy the atmosphere and to be a part of it and to remember the great experiences they've had at Austin Stadium. And I love talking to all those people. And it's been
Yeah.
wonderful to have you on. What are a couple of your favorite memories at Austin?
I so I only went to Oregon. I didn't graduate from Oregon. I graduated actually from UCF.
Okay.
I went to Oregon for 2 years, and so I only kind of experienced like the student section. And for me, I wish I was more in my mindset now than then, so that I could, be more aware of how cool Autzen was. You know what I mean? Like I was a fresh like college student. It's like, oh, cool, and you don't realize like kind of what a privilege it is to like be able to go to these games, right? And I was at the Fog Bowl in 2005 when we just obliterated Oregon State. Yes, but like we couldn't see the field and like all that stuff. And then my sorority went to. I was in Alpha Phi, and we went to the Alpha Phi in Oregon State the next year and watched us just lose completely to the Beavers in Corvallis. That was not fun. Yeah, but like it was funny because we were at the Fog Bowl, but we couldn't watch the game. But the fog was like super memorable. Like you just remember like trying to like look down onto the field. There was nothing there, and we were even trying to watch like the
Jumbotron.
The Jumbotron. Sorry, the words escape me. And you couldn't really see anything either because we were trying to watch the game. Like it, that was kind of a crazy experience. Like I said, that first game, that USC game, and I went to the Holiday Bowl. That's not in Austin, but I went to the Holiday Bowl that same year too when we lost by a point, I think, to the Sooners. That was a pretty rough loss. That was a rough game.
Mike Maloney could not decide between Dennis Dixon and Brady Leaf.
Brady Leaf, yes, I know, and I was like, can we please put Dixon back? Like, come on. And then Dennis Dixon was a dude, man. He was a dude. If he didn't tear his knee out or blow his knee out, oh my God. I'm talking Heisman. I'm talking, that's my biggest what if. But I really, really enjoy bringing Emma to Autzen. It was really cool to just kind of watch her go. And then we got a tour of like the facility and stuff. And we got to go onto the field, and she was down on the field, and she was like, this is so cool. Like it was really cool to be on the field. I hadn't been on the field before either. So it was really cool to be on the field and see all that stuff. And she got to see like, she's posing with the Heisman Trophy, and I'm like, dude, that's the Heisman Trophy. Like also like Marcus Mariota is the GOAT. And she goes, oh yeah, Marcus, number 8. And I'm like, that's my girl. All right.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you have the pull to get on the field and get a tour of the Halfland Field Dowling Center?
There's someone. His name. He works with the athletic department. His name is Lewis. And we follow each other on Instagram, and I think we just kind of like interacted that way. And he was like, "Oh my God, you're coming to Eugene." He was like, let me know what your schedule is like, and I'll bring you and Emma to like the facility and stuff. And I was like, okay, sweet. So yeah, that was really cool. I got really, really lucky. So that was insanely amazing, and like forever grateful, because Emma was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Yeah, it was so cool.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good to have moments of awe in life.
Oh yeah. Know? Yeah. And like everything that I like to experience it through her eyes now, because it's really cool to watch her experience things like this. So because I got to experience a lot of really cool things too when I was growing up. I was very fortunate, but like a lot of travel and like a lot of that kind of stuff, and so it's really cool to be able to provide like really cool experiences like that for her too. So to watch it, it's like watching it through my eyes, but it's through hers.
That's a magical thing about being a parent. We'll talk about a little bit about that. What you're growing up and what made it so special.
So I didn't grow up like a big football fan.
Uh-huh.
I even remember my dad, like I didn't have like a call, because growing up, I was born and raised ish in like the Bay Area, but I was raised in Mount Shasta, so it's like right up near the border. So we don't.
Beautiful area.
Yeah. Oh yes, we didn't have a lot of sports ish things there, and essentially I should have probably been like a Giants fan or an A's fan. But my dad was raised in Los Angeles. Um, and so like my grandma tried to get me to go to UCLA. Like I have pictures of me in UCLA stuff, with like the Bears and stuff, because we used to go to UCLA games all the time. My uncle, not on my dad's side, is Cal alum. So he was like, you got to go to Cal. You got to go to Cal. I couldn't get into a UC because I didn't have like the credentials from high school, like to get into a UC. The UC system is so crazy to get into. And I, so I did, Cal would have been okay. But I was just like enthralled by Oregon. But like I remember my dad, even he always wore the sweatshirt. It was the Nittany Lions, and I was like, that's not even anywhere near us. Why are you wearing that? He just liked Penn State growing up because it was like just one of those things. Because Penn State was the powerhouse, I think, like in that era. So he really liked he just really liked the garb too, I think. But he wasn't a football guy either. So, and I grew up in the baseball culture because John Miller, he's the announcer for the Giants.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Legendary.
He's a longtime family friend. Like, I mean, I'm talking like, I don't like to name drop, but he like grew up with my family. And so I'm a long time, like baseball is my culture, right? Like, so like that was my thing. So it wasn't really ever anything else. Because I've been to a million Giants games and I've been to, a million baseball games and met so many baseball like type people and played softball my entire life. So like, football wasn't the thing. And then I went to my first game on September 24th, 2005. And I was like, this is great. Like, the football feel is like, people always ask me what I like better, football or baseball, or like Oregon or the Dodgers. And like my love for the Dodgers, my love for baseball is something completely different than how I feel about Oregon and football. So I can't compare the two and I can't ever pick because it's just two separate, completely different feels. Like I'm passionate in a way about Oregon and football, and it's completely different with baseball and the Dodgers. So it growing up like and experiencing baseball and then finally getting to like experience college football, I was like, why haven't I been introduced to this sooner? So I don't think I had ever really been to a football. I think I've been to a couple Raiders games before liking football, I guess. But Raiders games are scary. So I love
Raiders fans are scary.
Well, yeah, which is funny because 49ers fans are sometimes almost worse. I think it's a toss-up. But I've been to the Coliseum so many times, and I'm upset, that's not a sports beacon anymore either. But like, I wasn't appreciative of football, so I wish that I could have been introduced to football a little bit sooner, I guess. But maybe it was better for me anyway to just be baseball for a while. But
what made you appreciate football so much? What made it so appealing?
I think being able to be immersed into it, like being introduced to college football first, I think was better because I like college football a lot better than I do the NFL. I think I feel that way about most sports. I think college sports are much more entertaining, I think, than pro sports. But it's just like a different feel. Like it's just a completely different sport. Also, there are some similarities, of course, but I just appreciated football for what it was, and it wasn't baseball. Also, there's only like one game on a Sunday instead of 101 game every single day for the whole season.
Yeah.
So I think that makes it a whole different fan experience also. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, in baseball, you are fans of the evil empire, the
I
team that everybody resents because they buy all the players.
Yeah, well, and I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Like Otani's contract has already been paid for. Like he's already paid for himself technically because he's got so many endorsements and he has so much money that comes in from like the Japan market and stuff that like his contract is essentially already paid for in 1 year of play. You know, now 2 seasons, 3 seasons of play, and that's the good thing about a big market is those kind of brand deals and having that kind of help helps that kind of spending, and it's really too bad that not every single team can have that big market feel to it also. I'm everybody's, a salary cap, and I'm like, yeah, a cap would be great, but also these athletes deserve their money because they've worked hard their entire life to get this money. But also, the cap isn't going to work if you don't have a floor. If nobody's going to spend their money, then on these players, and they're just going to waste their talent. Mike Trout and the Angels and Artie Moreno, sell the team.
Yeah.
It's not fair. Like it's just not fair that they're sitting there pocketing all their money instead of doing things and making business moves to improve their teams. And I think that the NFL has a good grip on that. I see a lot of people all the time compare the NFL and how that works to baseball teams also. But again, it's a different beast. So I wish that baseball was different because I am tired of people being like, oh, now you're the Yankees of like, and I'm like, all right, I did hate the Yankees, but also, I'm not sorry because I had to endure years of Frank McCourt and bankruptcy and terrible baseball and every single year we got to the playoffs and it was all those Dodgers are choking again, and now we've won twice in a row, and it's like, well, you just spend all your money, you buy your championships. Well, half the team is like homegrown, so I don't. And we've been trading. We have a good farm system. So I will defend my team, obviously, but I understand their frustration because I've been there with the Yankees. I've been there, and I wish that every single team had the power to be the Dodgers because that would be more fun that way. But also, the Dodgers also have lost a lot of games the last couple weeks. So money doesn't buy you happiness or everything or wins. So
Well, Dan Lanning always says, or he's said more than once, we spend to win. He's unapologetic about it. If you want to compete at the highest level and be great, you've got to compete in the financial market and get good players.
Yeah.
Ducks have on this 2027 recruiting class, I counted this morning, they have players from 17 different states.
That's crazy.
Yes, including Ohio, Tennessee, Alabama.
Sweet.
And that is a product of, spending a lot of money, but also doing a great job of evaluation and talent scouting and being a coaching staff with the drive to go out and get those guys.
Yeah. I think this is the most recruit heavy, like oriented, like recruit driven staff I think we've ever had. Ever.
And it shows because now they have a roster capable of winning the national championship.
Yeah.
Meg, they call you Coach Meg. Why do they call you Coach Meg? What do you coach?
Well, I did coach. I probably should change it because I haven't coached in a couple seasons, but I was coaching Emma. I was coaching softball.
All right.
She's very much so like me, where she's talented enough to like kind of do a lot of things. And she was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. But now she's very musically inclined also. So she's got a lot of trombone stuff she's been doing. And she wants to dabble a little bit in like singing and musical theater and stuff. So I'm I am not one to push her to do something she doesn't want to do because that's how you get burnt out. That happened to me. And I told her, I said, so maybe, when you're 13 and 14, you circle back to softball and that'd be great. Whatever you want to do, because I don't think it's ever too late really to start anything. So, but yeah, I was coaching 2 teams actually. The other thing was the league that I was coaching in was like 45 minutes away and the drive was really rough. So I think that was burning both of us out. But it was really fun to coach. A lot of people were really upset that I wasn't returning because their kids were going to return because I was coaching. That was really cool to hear on my end. But yeah, I guess I could just keep it because I could be a coach. I don't know, a life coach. I'm not sure. I could coach you on how to like baseball. I don't know. But I just like Coach Meg has like a nice ring to it also, so it's fine.
Well, today you have coached us on how to be a passionate fan and live a full life. And it's been joyous to talk with you, and I hope you'll come back.
I will. I love yapping about sports. So,
well, you did a great job with me, and we appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed this season. We'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you.
Coach Meg from Southern California, our fan today. Awesome to have you. Take care.
Thank you. You too.